A judge rules on claims of retaliation against Supervisor Leticia Perez from the DA's office. President Trump sues the state of California over his tax returns, and we invite you to help our community during the back-to-school drive. This is 17 News at noon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. We begin with some quick breaking news of a traffic alert from Caltrans reporting all ramps are closed at Interstate 5 and Highway 46 due to a gas leak. No word yet on what caused it or how long this will be a problem. However, we'll keep you updated on our website, KGET.com, as well as our Facebook and Twitter pages throughout the afternoon. You can also download our 17 News app to get the latest breaking news sent directly to your phone. Other news this afternoon, a judge in Kern County finds that there's some evidence prosecutors may have retaliated against Supervisor Leticia Perez in filing charges last summer. You may remember in July of last year, then District Attorney Lisa Green filed 2 misdemeanor charges against Perez. They were government code violations alleging conflict of interest regarding Perez's vote to legalize medicinal pot in Kern County in 2017. The filings came within 6 weeks of the June primary, where Cynthia Zimmer was elected district attorney. Then DA Green had supported her assistant district attorney Scott Spielman to replace her. But Perez had made at least one financial contribution to Zimmer's campaign. In yesterday's ruling, Judge Thomas S. Clark said Perez produced, quote, some evidence the charges against her may have been the result of retaliation by Green. As a result, Judge Clark ordered the district attorney's office to turn over a number of documents to Perez and her attorney regarding interactions between the DA's office and the board of Spielman's campaign with any mention of Perez. The allegations against Perez have been compared to those of City Councilman Bob Smith. He admitted to using his position to influence the City Planning Commission to approve his company's application for a subdivision of land and was fined $3,000 in 2017. No criminal charges were filed against him despite the conflict of interest violation being, quote, remarkably similar to the allegations against Perez, Judge Clark wrote. The next hearing in the Perez case is Friday. 17's Aton Wallace will have more coming up on 17 News at 5. An update now to a shooting we told you about this morning on 17 News at sunrise. The victim has died and a woman's under arrest. It happened just before midnight at an apartment complex near 33rd and Q Streets. Bakersfield police were called to the scene and the man was taken to the hospital where he died. Police arrested 27-year-old Marvinisha Johnson on suspicion of murder. Anyone with information regarding this case is asked to call BPD at 327-7111. National news now. The Trump campaign and Republican Party are suing California over a new law requiring presidential candidates to release their tax returns. 2 lawsuits filed this morning argue the law is unconstitutional. The suits argue the law violates the U.S. Constitution by creating additional requirements to run for president. They say the law disenfranchises voters by denying them an opportunity to vote for their chosen candidate. The suits call the law a naked political attack against Trump. The law signed last week by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is aimed at trying to pry loose Trump's tax returns, which he's refused to release, saying they're under audit. The law requires any candidate for president or governor to release 5 years of recent returns to appear on the state primary ballot. The law would not affect the general election. Investigators are still searching for answers into the pair of mass shootings that left 31 people dead and dozens more injured in less than 13 hours over the weekend. Residents in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, still grappling with unimaginable loss. NBC's Wendy Woolfolk is in Texas with the latest.
Their wounds raw. 2 cities, hundreds of miles apart, connected by tragedy.
It's about our community and how much we care about each other.
Finding strength in their unity as they search for answers.
This isn't about race. This isn't about religion. It's none of those things. This is a man who is in pain and didn't get the help that he needed.
In Dayton, police do not believe race was the motivation of the gunman who took 9 lives in just seconds.
We will always remember those who died. We will always be scarred by that. But we will do what Ohioans have always done, and that is push forward.
In El Paso, the motive is clear.
We're dealing with a tragedy of 22 people who have perished by an evil, hateful act of a white supremacist.
According to investigators, the suspect drove more than 10 hours overnight from his home near Dallas.
As soon as he got here, he was lost in the neighborhood, After that, he found his way to the Walmart because we understand he was hungry.
Let's go. Run, Mama.
Moments later, he unleashed terror inside the crowded store.
He volunteered most of the evidence that we were able to utilize at this time.
Cooperation, no consolation for the pain this weekend's mass shootings caused.
All we could do is just stay together as a community.
Unified while they mourn in the wake of overwhelming loss. Wendy Woolfolk, NBC News, El Paso.
Meantime, the president will visit Texas, El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio tomorrow. All right, back here at home this afternoon, the city of Delano is now a sanctuary city. Councilman Brian Osorio proposed a resolution to adopt sanctuary status. Sanctuary cities are places where laws and resolutions prevent law enforcement from giving information to and cooperating with ICE agents. The council voted 4-1 in support, but Mayor Joe Aguirre was against the move.
We have an administration that's out to get them. If they're here illegally and if there's issues, they're going to come after you. They're going to come looking. But to go out and tell them that you're safe in Delano, that's a lie. That's a lie, and everybody knows it, and we're playing the part that it's okay.
Aguirre adds Delano is now at risk of losing federal funding due to its sanctuary city status. In another city council meeting last night, a Tehachapi council members discussing becoming a Second Amendment sanctuary city. Last month, City Councilman Ken Hedge pushed for Tehachapi to explore ways to become exempt from some state gun regulations like bans on certain kinds of ammunition. Last night, Hedge made a motion to have the city attorney look into it, but the issue didn't get support from fellow council members, so it never got up for a vote. The Tehachapi City Council also voted down a proposal to put In God We Trust decals on its police vehicles. Several other cities have voted to add the decals to their vehicles as part of a countywide push by Pastor Angelo Frazier. All right, let's check out that forecast. Vanessa's in for Kevin with a look at what we're looking at this afternoon.
Clear, sunny skies. And as far as what we're expecting here in our region, Bakersfield, 92 degrees now, so slightly warmer than what we saw earlier this morning. 29% humidity levels and mild winds for the most part. We're not seeing things too breezy out there for us here in Bakersfield. Tehachapi, though, 91 degrees is our high, so definitely a little more warmer than what we've been seeing. Now, 15% humidity levels for us out there. And a quick look at our radar and satellite. Clear skies for us in Bakersfield, but I'll have a look at what we're expecting for the remainder of the week coming up in Pinpoint weather. But for now, I'll go ahead and send it back to you, Maddie.
Thanks, Vanessa. Author Toni Morrison passed away last night at a medical center in New York, according to a statement from her family. Morrison authored several novels, including Beloved, for which she won the Pulitzer Prize in 1988. In 1993, Morrison won the Nobel Prize in Literature, the first African American to do so. Morrison also worked as an editor at Random House Books from 1967 to 83, the first African American editor in company history. In a statement, Morrison's family said she passed away surrounded by friends and family. She was 88 years old. A reminder now, as the first day of school is 1 week from tomorrow, we need your help to set students up for success for the new school year. We've teamed up with the Bakersfield Homeless Center to make it all happen. We're hoping to collect 700 backpacks with basic school supplies, as well as clothes and underwear for boys, girls, and teens. You can drop off donations at our station on 22nd and L Streets or the Homeless Center on East Truxtun Avenue today through Friday. Stocks recover slightly after yesterday's steep dive. We'll have a look at why analysts say today's uptick could be temporary. Plus, it's time to make sure your kids are ready to start school next week. One place you can go if vaccinations are still on your to-do list. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. We're back now on your 17 Health Watch. More than a few opportunities for students to get their shots this week. Kern Public Health is holding a vaccination clinic at Veterans Hall on Ridge Road, just off Mount Vernon Avenue past Heritage Park. The clinic runs through Friday and all next week as well. You can call Public Health at 321-3000 for times. A new study links emotional struggles of parents during pregnancy to poor behavior in their children. A team of researchers surveyed over 400 expectant moms and fathers, then followed up several times after birth. They found moms with prenatal stress and anxiety were more likely to have toddlers prone to tantrums and restlessness and spitefulness. Children were also more likely to be clingy, unhappy, and worried if their parents had conflict soon after birth. It's an all-too-common injury, but could be preventable. Barbara Moore-Silva tells us more about how baseball players wearing protective eyewear could be protected from blows to the eye, and how one teenager from Rhode Island is a believer.
Michael's injury was severe. happening just a few months ago on May 29th.
And I was out playing baseball, and I was warming up the pitcher because the catcher wasn't out there, while I was also taking ground balls from the first baseman. And the pitcher threw the ball as I was taking a ground ball to me. I wasn't paying attention, and I got hit.
His face was just covered in blood, and he was very unorganized. He didn't know where he was. And we knew it was serious at that point. It swelled up right away.
This is Michael's CAT scan.
14-year-old Michael Trotman had external and internal injuries to his left eye area.
The bone underneath was broken. Internally, he had bleeding, which is called a hyphema, inside the eye, which was making his vision quite blurry. He had inflammation as well, which is internal swelling.
And he had a concussion. Would it heal properly?
At the time that I originally met Michael, I didn't know that it would, and it put him at risk for permanent visual impairment.
Michael is far from alone.
We see in the spring, there was one day where I saw 3 serious baseball injuries in one day.
Look all the way over here. How about over here? Any double that way when you look?
No. Michael is one of the lucky ones, and now these are part of his uniform.
They don't look very flashy, or they don't look very good, but they're protecting me and they're doing the right job.
Something has to absorb that energy when impact is made. So either it's your face or it's your eyewear.
If we could do that day all over again, he would have that eyewear, and perhaps this wouldn't have happened to him.
Michael ended up returning to the final game a month after his injury with his protective eyewear.
I had a double, triple, and a single. And I think I had 5 RBIs that game.
The league president naming Michael MVP.
His face was priceless when he found out that the injured kid was performing so well his first game back.
Good outcome. Barbara Moore Silva reporting there. Checking out your forecast, and we're looking for a good outcome at the end of the week. Right, Vanessa?
Absolutely, Maddie. Right now, though, we're seeing clear, sunny skies, and we're going to see those warmer temperatures for us today. But then, luckily, we're going to see a slight cool down. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather forecast. 92 degrees right now in Bakersfield, so we're going to see things pretty much heat up pretty rapidly here for us. 29% humidity levels for us out there. Radar and satellite, we're seeing clear skies, although we are seeing some cloud coverage in the northern region of us. But for the most part, Bakersfield is looking at those clear conditions, although we will see some clouds later in the week. I'll get into the details coming up in a bit. But current conditions, we are seeing those 90s already. 95 Arvin, 91 Tehachapi is their high for today. Hopefully it doesn't get a little hotter than that. 85 in Fraser Park, 98 Rosemond. Regional current temperatures, we're seeing 73 in Los Angeles, but 90 in Fresno. Again, 92 in Bakersfield, 103 in Las Vegas. And that's potentially what we're expecting to see later today, this afternoon. 18-hour futurecast as far as what we're expecting for the remainder of today. In the next several hours, we're seeing those clear skies, really not a lot of cloud coverage unless you're looking into the eastern region of us. Pismo Beach, we are still seeing those cloudy conditions out there, pretty much partly cloudy though, although we did see that fog come in earlier today. It's pretty much cleared up at this point. 61 degrees though, so still pretty cool out there. Definitely if you're trying to make your way out to the beach, it's a good idea because we can escape those triple-digit temps that we're expecting for us today. Pinpoint Valley forecast, sunny and hot. Northwestern winds can go up to 5 miles per hour, so mild winds for us. Triple digits across the board for today. 102 Porterville, 101 Delano, 101 Wasco, and 102 Buttonwillow. 100 in Maricopa, so really just hundreds across the board. And we see those mid to high 70s, even high 60s in those evening hours, so definitely something to look forward to. Pinpoint Mountain forecast, partly sunny conditions. That was in the morning, and now we're expecting to pretty much see those sunny, clear skies at this hour and pretty much for the remainder of the day. Northwestern winds can go up to 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts at 20 miles per hour. So, relatively cooler out there. Pinpoint Desert forecast, sunny and hot. Southwestern winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts can go up to 25 miles per hour, and pretty much triple digits across the board for them in the Desert Valley forecast. We are seeing those triple digits today. That is our high, so just be mindful of that. Definitely remember to stay cool and hydrated. And then tomorrow we'll see 100 degrees again. And for the remainder of the week, we're seeing beautiful conditions, 89 by this Saturday. Our mountain forecast, we are seeing warm conditions, 90 today. And then pretty much for the remainder of the week, we start to see a slight cool down, breezy conditions by Friday. Beautiful Saturday, breezy and 77 degrees for you out there. So definitely take advantage, maybe even try to make some plans. And of course, Kern Valley forecast, we are seeing those 90s across the board, 80s over the weekend.
All right, not too bad. We just have to get through the next few days.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. Once again, we need everyone's help to clear the shelters. Every year, NBC stations team up with animal shelters around the country for a massive adoption drive. We're working with the Bakersfield Animal Care Center to find new loving homes for cats and dogs. It's all happening August 17th at the center at 201 South Mount Vernon Avenue from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can drop by and perhaps add a new member to your family. Getting back into the job market is something a lot of vets struggle with, and a program is working to help ease that transition, especially for female veterans. Your 17 Business Watch is after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. Wall Street's summer swoon likely isn't over yet. Several chart analysts are pointing out that while the market has dropped sharply over the past few days, it still has a long way to go before a sustainable bottom can be reached. Analysts call it a corrective phase in an upward trend. Still, it's rebounding slightly today. The Dow is up about 258 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq up 102 points and the S&P 500 up 32. Meantime, checking out oil prices. Those, however, are on the downward slide today. West Texas Intermediate, $53.81 a barrel, and Midway Sunset, $59.20 a barrel. Ford's most powerful Mustang ever built is headed to dealerships this fall. The all-new Shelby GT500 is sure to strike a chord with Mustang fans. Ford says this third-generation GT500 is capable of going from 0 to 60 miles per hour in the mid-3-second range. Plus, the new beefed-up version has 760 horsepower and 625 pounds of torque. Ford says the new Shelby GT500 is aimed at Mustang enthusiasts who also want track performance. The starting price is just under $74,000. Google's pledging to have a greener future for its products. The company says by 2022, all of its hardware will contain recycled materials, with some starting later this year. That list includes products like Pixel phones, Google Home speakers, phone cases, and charging stands. Google says it already has started using recycled plastics in Chromecast devices and in the fabric on Google Homes and cases. By 2020, Google promises to make all of its shipments going to or from customers carbon neutral. For veterans, reintegration into the job market can be a struggle. That's especially true for the fastest growing segment of the veteran population, women. CNBC's Contessa Brewer has a look at a program working to help ease that transition and allow former service members to create a business of their own.
Natasha Norrie Standard spent 20 years in the Army.
I had opportunities to be a commander. I was airborne. I worked in special operations. I supported special operations around the world.
When she retired, with all her skills in logistics and management, she took a job at Williams-Sonoma. There were some hurdles.
It was the lack of camaraderie. Lack of values. So, civilian values are different than military values.
After 7 months, she quit. Though she landed an interview at Amazon, Norrie Standard opted to start her own business, shoes.
I remembered how much I loved shoes from being stationed in Italy.
To get her shoe business off the ground, she needed a boot camp, one designed especially for entrepreneurs and especially for veterans. She found it here at Syracuse University. With an Institute for Veterans and Military Families, Syracuse is tackling the challenge of transitioning from the armed forces to civilian life. But for women, that can be especially challenging.
Getting their transition right is core to ensuring long-term employability and financial independence.
Maureen Casey testified before Congress about the problem. Women vets spend longer looking for work, make 30% on average less than their male counterparts, and may struggle in a corporate environment.
We have seen an uptick in the number of women that are drawn to entrepreneurship programs, running counter to the trend where we've seen a decrease in veterans going into entrepreneurship.
With lessons on business strategy, marketing, pitching to venture capitalists, the boot camp has been so successful, it's been duplicated at 8 other universities, graduating 2,000.
And the private sector is stepping up to help with big names like JP Morgan Chase, Walmart, PepsiCo, and Prudential all supporting the Institute at Syracuse, as well as Starbucks former CEO Howard Schultz, who donated $7.5 million to the program. Well, this year, classic rock is rocking the box office. We'll have a look at the new movies out for home viewing. Entertainment news is next. Welcome back. Entertainment news now. Classic rock seems to be all the rage at movie theaters these days. Last year's Bohemian Rhapsody won 4 Academy Awards in addition to its monetary success. Still humming through theaters now is the Beatles' songbook Yesterday. And earlier this summer, Elton John got the silver screen treatment with the movie Rocket Man, which is now available for home viewers. Here's Raphael Seth with this week's video view.
Dad is a fat boy from nowhere. Get to be a soul man.
Taron Egerton says goodbye Yellow Brick Road in Rocket Man. This musical bio features the Kingsman star as legendary rocker Elton John. The film chronicles the life of the multi-million selling artist from shy young prodigy to international megastar, with all of life's sour notes in between. Rocket Man is digital this week.
The mass extinction we feared has already begun.
Millie Bobby Brown finds a world full of stranger things in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This latest uprising of the Tokyo Terror puts an Earth Day spin on the 65-year-old franchise. Long dormant titans do some deadly redecorating to rid the Earth of harmful humans, but the Stomp Dragon of the Deep doesn't like those other guys and charges up for a throwdown. Godzilla is digital this week.
The X Factor.
What's the X Factor?
Don't worry, we've got it.
Love knows no boundaries in The Sun is also a star. Blackish cast member Yara Shahidi plays a pragmatic New Yorker, but when Charles Melton saves her from being run over at an intersection, he tries to warm her heart with some old-school romance, and his ploy seems to be working until he finds out his new love interest is being deported for being born in Jamaica. The Sun is also a star is on digital. That's the video view. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
When we return here on 17 News at noon, it's not what you'd normally expect to see written on the back of somebody's window, but it's getting a lot of much-needed attention for a California couple. We'll explain. Welcome back. Finally, at noon, a California woman is helping a man find a kidney donor for his wife after she spotted his eye-catching request on the back window of a pickup truck. Last week, Michelle Bergeron saw the pickup truck sign, which reads kidney needed and includes a phone number, blood type, information, and a link. She tracked down the vehicle and the vehicle's owner. She then asked for the man's permission to post a picture of the sign to Facebook. It's since gone viral, garnering more than 6,000 shares. The kidney is for Don Christian's wife, Susan, who has polycystic kidney disease. So their search now widening across the internet, and hopefully they'll soon have a donor.
That is really neat, though. I mean, who would have thought that that's like the way they can kind of go about it, you know?
Absolutely. Hopefully it reaches somebody.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for joining us here for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back tonight at 5 and 6. Have a great Tuesday.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.